Welcome back. In this video, we are going to have a look at how you can create micropartitions and clustering keys in Snowflake. In this video, you will learn how to view the micropartitions of each table, how to view the clustering keys of each table, and how to assign different clustering keys to each of your table. In this video, I am going to use this schema to perform further operations. There are two ways of viewing the clustering information in Snowflake. First is to use the built-in system functions. So any function that has a system $sign is a built-in function, and clustering underscore information is going to give us clustering information about the table line item. So the clustering information tells me that this table has been clustered by using the column L underscore ship date. The next parameter tells me that this table has 10,336 micropartitions. The parameter total constant micropartition count is the number of micropartitions that will not have a significant impact as a result of reclustering. Reclustering, as the name suggests, is the process of clustering your table when the data arrives. So, for example, you have a table and you have 5 micropartitions at the table. New batches of data are arriving and being ingested into this table. Now, what happens is that Snowflake will try to identify which chunk of this new patch of data goes into which micropartition. As a result of this, some of the micropartitions will need to be reclustered. But there will be some micropartitions which will remain untouched, so the constant micropartition will remain as it is. We can also view the table using the wildcard operator. So I am going to write show tables like line. So it is going to show me all the table that has line in its name, and it is going to give me information about the line item. Next, I will create a new warehouse of the size extra large because I am going to need this new warehouse for the particular role in order to display clustering. Then we will use this warehouse. Then we are going to display the table line item, and we are going to limit the number of records to 200,000. And then we will move to view the query history. Click on query profile, and then from there we will have a look at the query statistics. Here you can see that this query has scanned a total of 13 partitions, and the total partitions were 10,336. The bytes scanned are 9.82 GB. In order to avoid the query from fetching data from the cache, I am going to set use cache result flag to false in order to avoid getting results from the cache. Now, once again, we will view the line item table, but this time we are going to view only those rows where the L underscore shift date is 1/12/1998. I will limit the number of rows to 10,000. And then I will view the query profile for this particular query. Here you will see that the number of scan partitions is 1, total number of partition is 10,336, and the bytes scanned are 11.06 MB, and the cached result is 100%. Now I will modify this query a little bit, and instead of one date, I am going to define it to date to get the records from the line items table. Upon viewing the query profile, you will see that again the scan partition is 1, the total number of partition is the same, but this time the number of bytes scan is 43.23 MB. Now I am going to view the clustering information of another table called part sub table, and it has a clustering key of PS underscore sub key. Upon running, you will see the clustering information including the total partition count, total constant partition count, average overlay, etc. Now I am going to run another query in which I will select the total number of records and count the distinct supply keys from the table parts up, and then upon running, I'll get the unique supply keys for the table. Here you can see that there are a total of 800 million records, out of which 10 million supply keys are unique. Now I will switch the schema to e-commerce underscore live. Inside the schema e-commerce underscore live, I'll create a new table called customers, and I am going to copy the data in it from the Snowflake sample data table customer. Similarly, I will create 5 new tables inside the schema called nation, part, part sub, region, and supplier, and I am going to copy the data from the sample data database respective table. Upon running, all the tables will be created, but once you hover over all the created tables, you will see that the clustering key has not been copied into them. So now I will explicitly add clustering key into each of the table. I will copy the above commands and then I am going to add the clustering key into each of these tables by using the command cluster by and defining the column name by looking at the table inside the Snowflake sample data database. Now you can see that for the tables for which you defined the clustering key have been recreated with the clustering key in it. And this is how you can view the micro partitions in your table and create different types of clustering keys for each table. And that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one.